This 2025 Masters Update, live from Augusta, is brought to you by Mountain Land Supply, Black Desert Resort, and Siegfried and Jensen on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Brian Taylor, Real Golf Radio. You hear it every Saturday morning. Kind enough to join us. BT, how are you?
You know, coming out here to the Masters is pretty special, but being able to talk to you guys just is the cherry on top.
Okay.
I was just thinking to myself, BT, it's that time of year again where Scotty and I just annoy BT.
Yes. It's a tradition unlike any other.
This is the best. This is the best.
Well, we love you. We love the fact that you put up with us and that you do give us some great insights. But Scotty and I were just talking about it, man, with Tiger Woods' stupid April Fool's joke that for just a minute had me all kinds of juiced and excited to see a guy with a blown Achilles play in the Masters. I'm just struggling with this one a little bit. Tell me a few things that should interest me about the field this year.
You're struggling with it, like getting excited about it due to the fact that Tiger's out? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it's not just Tiger, but it's having that dominant force that you're forced. The Mike Tyson, the Tiger Woods, the Wayne Gretzky, the Michael Jordan. That dominant force in golf is so important, and that's my opinion. But maybe it's not in general.
And so you're not putting Scheffler on there, huh?
No. I mean he was great, but has he got the sustained greatness that makes him the dog and the chaser?
Well, sure. Let's talk about that, right? So he actually gets compared to Jack Nicklaus quite a bit. And Jack won his first Masters in 1963. He won his second in 1965, and then he went to be the first player to win back-to-back green jackets in 65 and 66, okay? So he won his second and third back-to-back. Scotty Scheffler won his in 21st and 22, won his second in 24, and now has the opportunity to go back-to-back and join Jack and Nick Faldo, who are the only players to have won backto-back, and Tiger in 2001 and 2 that have gone back-to-back. He'd be the fourth player. So I look at that and say, you know what, that's some pretty good company. You know, he's on the cusp of creating history and dominance. I'll give you another one. The average number of attempts before a player wins their first Masters is 6. Scotty's playing his 6th with a chance to win his 3rd. So, I mean, I look at it and I say that's some pretty good domination right there. There's a guy that's figured out this golf course. He's fun to watch. He hits amazing shots. He's got a unique golf swing. I think Scotty's got all the tools for superstardom, and in fact, I think that was Jim Nance's call last year when he made that winning putt. His stardom confirmed. So, I mean, take it from Nance if you don't believe me. But, yeah, I'll look at that one. Here's the other one. Rory McIlroy this week. He can win and get that elusive green jacket to complete the career Grand Slam and become just the 6th player in history to do that. So, you know, we got potentially the 4th player to win back-to-back, the 6th player to join the career Grand Slam club. I mean, there's a lot of terrific stories. Here's the other one. Ludwig Oberg, trying to become the first player since Jordan Spieth to go runner-up win in his first and second starts here at Augusta National. And again, that crossing of history sort of plays into here. It was exactly 10 years ago that Spieth went first time as a runner-up in 14, winner in 15. Oberg, first time, runner-up in 24. Can he go to 25? So obviously all three of those scenarios can't play out simultaneously, but I do think it gives some compelling reasons to want to tune in this week.
I like it. You're selling it.
You are. You know, you're selling it. You know, I was looking at Scotty Scheffler. He had 8 wins on the 2024 tour. He has 6 starts in the 2025 without a victory, but he did turn up the juice just last week at the Texas Children's Houston Open, got himself a T2, and looks like he's playing a little bit better. So I guess this is kind of like, all right, all eyeballs back on Scotty Scheffler, because by this time last year, he had a couple of victories. And
he had 4 wins, I think, coming into it. Yeah, and the difference, Hans, is, and you know this, I mean, with athletes, injuries, everything, right? And he had an unfortunate, you know, it's silly, and he laughs about it, but, you know, he was at a rental house for the holidays, and they liked, one of their traditions is making raviolis. And he decided to use a wine glass to cut the raviolis because they didn't have a ravioli cutter. So he turned it upside down, and he's pressing into the dough, you know, with his palm of his hand, and the darn thing broke, and the stem stabbed into his hand, and left glass stuck in his hand. He had to have surgery to remove it and repair it. So, I mean, you start looking at that and you go, yeah. I mean, so he was out. He didn't even start his season until, what was it, middle of, I think it was Phoenix, maybe Pebble Beach in the third, fourth week of January.
Yeah, it was the AT&T Pebble Beach.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's,
Wow.
and then his hand was not, when you have a cut, and you got to let that skin heal, and especially when it's on your hand and you're a golfer. I mean, that's everything right there. So it's silly. Don't get me wrong, but you just go, man. Bob used to tell me when we were all the way back in the day when we had that studio at Thanksgiving Point, and we'd sit in there and we're talking about Tiger and his domination, and we're like, how many can he win? How many majors? How many total? He's going to get 100. He's going to get 25 majors and 100 wins, right? I mean, and Bob would say, well, if he stays healthy, and I would laugh at him. I would be like, dude, Tiger is the most freakish athlete golf's ever seen. If anyone's going to stay healthy, it's him. You got to worry about guys like Phil Mickelson. They're the ones that are going to get hurt, right? Lumpy, kind of, not working out. And you get Tiger's a specimen. Well, wouldn't you know it? His body is, just absolutely shredded apart. And Phil, with his softness and his long, lanky swing, has actually pretty much been injury-free. It's a weird deal, unfortunately. And it's sad that Tiger's not here. But I'm loving what Scotty's doing, and I'm loving what a lot of the other guys are doing. I think we got a good group of great people to watch right now in golf.
Well, moral of the story is don't work out. Dad bod's going to save your career. So
Stadler this thing.
Yeah, let's Stadler this thing. Let's walrus this thing. Yeah. Hey, speaking of injury, Xander Schauffele, how's his health coming into this thing?
So I actually had a chance to ask him about it. He said he's good to go. As soon as he got the all clear, he's like, they had to hold me back. He said I was ready to go, and so he's feeling good. Feels like he's back in form, and yeah, he's a big one to watch too. Like a year ago, he sat here and he was being asked a question about winning his first major championship, and now he comes in as a two-time major champion, having won the PGA and the Open, right? So. Xander's a big story this week. We haven't seen a ton of greatness out of him, on the year so far, but he's certainly one to keep an eye on as a two-time major. And Bryson DeChambeau, we just finished up listening to him. By the way, for as entertaining as that guy is with his content creation and out on the golf course, that was probably one of the sleepiest interviews I've ever sat through. Like he could not have been less exciting. And I was like, come on, man, turn it up a little bit here. It's late in the day. We've been doing interviews since 7:30 this morning. Let's go. But anyway, so Bryson's an interesting one. He got his best finish in his career here at Augusta National, and I think we'll see. I think he offended the Augusta gods when he called it Bryson par of 67 or whatever it was, but and then he went on to miss the cut. So maybe he's made. I think he walked some of that back last year, and he tied for 6. So look, Bryson tied for 6 here. Then he went on and just finished a shot out of the PGA, and then he won the Open at Pinehurst, U.S. Open. So he's another guy to keep an eye on. We just don't see a ton of them, because of being out there at Live and stuff. So,
speaking of missing the cut, Tony Finau's missed 3 of them: the American Express, the Farmer Insurance, and the Players at TPC Sawgrass. And just this last weekend at Valero, tied 56th. I know he had a couple of different putting issues. I saw one from, like a foot and a half out or 2 feet out, BT. And
he tried to stab one.
Yeah, he tried to stab it and missed it. Where are we at with Tony? How's his game, and is there a chance he gets himself a top 5 finish in this thing?
Well, you framed it that way. I was going to respond differently. If top 5, I could see him get a top 5. That's his best finish. He's T5 in 2019 when he played in that final group with Tiger. This is his 8th playing of the Masters. His tie for 55th last year, I think, is his worst. Yeah, it's his worst. And he had a final round 80, which was his worst round. That was a head scratcher, And, I'll give Tony a lot of credit. He actually talked to us after that 80, and it was kind of a hard one. And he just kind of, he sort of shook it off. Last year was tough. You remember the winds were really high. It was a tough year, and he got, his game just wasn't quite on. And this golf course, just because guys make a lot of birdies and eagles around here, it's not easy, and it can get you. But, look, if you take out the November Masters, he's had, 3 of 7 top 10s here, including the top 5. So, he likes this place. the problem is his game is just not great. Like, if you're looking at his statistics on tour, he's in the 70s and 80s, amongst the tour players in most of the statistical categories. I would say his putting's maybe up just a little bit, but it's just not great right now. So haven't had a chance to visit with him, to be honest with you, at all this year. And so I'm excited to catch up with him this week and find out what's the latest and how he's feeling.
Any adjustments to the course going into this year?
Well, the biggest thing was, Hurricane Helene came through here, and it was just really devastating for this community. I mean, we're driving around into some of the communities out to where we're staying in the house, and there's houses with roofs that are caved in from trees that fell on them. There's still trees that are hanging on power lines. Like, it was nasty. And unfortunately, Augusta National was not immune to that. They lost a lot of trees around here. Excuse me, if this was your first time, I'm not sure that you would notice. It looks beautiful, but there's a lot of areas where, like, walking down 10, you can look out in the distance, and there's Augusta Country Club. And normally you don't see anything because the trees were so dense that they had kind of framing the whole property, and you can see right through it now into Augusta Country Club. And then, between holes, like standing on the first tee box, you can look right through the trees that divide 1 and 9, and you can see 8 green. That's something you didn't used to be able to see. And there were some aiming trees that guys used on the backside of 11 that are no longer there. So there's definitely been some things, and some trees fell on the 16th green, and they had to rebuild that. So listening to all of the players all day long today, all of them said that the course play is just the same. It's just looks a little bit more sparse is all, and the green was repaired and to the point where you wouldn't really know anything different. So those are really the only changes. I can tell you that it was super firm and fast at the beginning of the week, almost brown on the greens because they got a ton of rain on Monday. They knew that was coming. So would have softened it up today, and I think it'll be in perfect condition come Thursday.
All right, BT, I want your honest, analytical, all joking aside opinion on this, okay? I'm at about a 22 handicap right now. If you were to place I know it's bad. If you were to place my ball, BT? I know, geez, BT. If you were to place my ball on the furthest point of the edge of the green and let me start on the green, could I have a top 10 finish? Could I win the Masters if you started me on the edge of the green?
Man, I saw this posted on social media, and I've thought a lot about it. That's a good question. I would say that just straight, like, you're coming right out of the booth here. You're coming right out of the radio booth, and you're just going to the first green, and there's your ball.
Yep.
I would think that you would do really well to average a 3-putt. Like really good. And that's not a knock on you. That's just like the speed and not knowing the greens. It's not like you had a month to walk around here and putt the greens every single day in preparation, right? And work with a putting coach and work with, greens reading books and all that. You're talking about walking right out there. You're going to see, I think Ernie Els 5-putted the first hole one time in competition.
I remember that.
It's hard, right? So if you're talking about a 3-putt, so are you saying you're lying 0 on the green? So if you 3-putt, you just made birdie? I don't know. That's gonna be kind of interesting. I don't know. That's a good question.
Well,
yeah, but I'll probably 4 or 5-putt on a par 3. So
you could. I would need to get a calculator out. That's gonna be hard for me to think about. Can I get back to you? Give me a couple days. Let me tell you what I think you'd shoot.
When Hans threw this out to us, I was like, well, what we need to do is back you off 20 yards off the green because nobody Texas wedge is better than my guy right here.
I can't Texas wedge. BT, I'm proud of it. Very proud of it.
You cannot believe some of the shots he's made on a Texas wedge.
Oh, they call me old Texas T. That's what they call me. So.
Texas T.
I've called you a lot worse, actually, after some of these shots.
Did you take that off of the Beverly Hillbillies or what the Texas
100%. And we're probably the only 3 people that even know what that is. Us Idaho roots.
Black gold.
Texas T, that is. All right, BT, you're the best, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
Oh, man. Hey, enjoy, guys. It's going to be a fun week. A major championship season is here. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Ryan Taylor, Real Golf Radio.